welcome to the Wednesday, March 31st edition of the Islandstats Sports Brief. I'm Earl Baisden. Bermuda's second CONCACAF World Cup Group B division match saw them come away with a 5-0 victory over Aruba. National coach Kyle Lightbourne was pleased with the way the team responded following their defeat by Canada.
The beginning of the game started slow. I think took us a little while to get to the pace that we wanted it to be at. But I think maybe, 30 minutes into the game, we sort of started. I could feel that we were starting to take control of the match. We were able to close them down in midfield better than what we were doing early on. After that, once we scored the first goal, we were able to really control the game.
Lightbourne said one of the things he wanted to do was to be able to control possession of the game.
We knew that this game we would have a little bit more of the ball, but they started a lot faster than us, but they didn't have any real answers for us trying to play out of the back. They dropped off and they allowed us to keep the ball, but eventually we were able to create the chance and take one. I thought Lijon could have scored earlier. He decided to cross it. I mean, we had a couple near misses maybe early in the game without really having a foothold in the game. But once Kane scored and then Jaylon scores the second goal, not too long after that, I think we controlled the match.
Staying with football news, according to a report from Clarendon View, Nathan Trott faces an uncertain future at West Ham United. Clarendon View suggests that Trott and Nathan Holland could be farmed out on loan next season. Meanwhile, Justin Dunowa and his Sullymore teammates secured a resounding 3-0 home win last evening against Webstone. During the government COVID-19 press conference last evening, Islandstats.com asked the Premier how many people are coming to Bermuda to facilitate the SAIL GP.
The first question is, I do not know how many are entering, but we can look to get that information for you.
Then he responded to how are we protecting ourselves from all these people entering the island in such a short period of time.
They're protected in the way of which travel to Bermuda works, with pre-testing, testing on arrival, and depending on where they're arriving from, a period of quarantine. I think what's most important to recognize is, however, that of course, as this is a sailing event, which people may compete for prizes and actually have things in the interest of the organizers to ensure that no one actually either gets infected, breaks the bubble, or mixes with other people. So they're going to be in a bubble the entire time. I can actually send over the full safety protocols for Islandstats. I think that'll be helpful, so you can share that. I did get that from the Bermuda Tourism Authority yesterday, and that information, but they are tested. I think they're almost tested daily to make sure there's no spread amongst their bubbles. But in the individual teams remain in their bubbles, leave the hotel. They don't even eat with the rest of the people in the hotel. They're separated. So there's an entire bubble for the entire process. If people go back to the NBA bubbles and other types of sporting bubbles, it's similar and akin to that.
The Premier also responded to a question: who is held responsible for payment if someone has to stay on the island following the event if they test positive?
Well, that would certainly be on them. That certainly wouldn't be on us, as it is now.
Gary Rollins and his Sussex teammates followed an excellent effort with the bat by taking 12 wickets on the second and final day of their preseason friendly against Surrey. Rollins finished with figures of 10 overs, 2 maidens, 1 for 37. Tiara DeRosa represented Mississippi Valley State University at the Al Schmidt Bulldog Relays. DeRosa competed in the women's shot put, finishing 8th with a top toss 12.35 meters. During the women's discus throw, DeRosa finished 3rd with a top toss of 45.77 meters. Shelby Medeiros watched from the sidelines as her Siena women's tennis teammates were victorious in their first home match of the season as they defeated Binghamton University by a final score of 7-0. And that's a look at this Wednesday, March 31st edition of the Islandstats Sports Brief. I'm Earl Baston.